The Killers and Human. Speaking of which, I've got two fantastic, wonderful human beings in the studio with me this morning. Ivan and Richard from Downtown.
Welcome back, gentlemen.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Nice to be here.
Can I just say it is fantastic to have you both in the studio with us this morning.
Yeah, it's largely the same, Richard, isn't it? As
it is. It's more sort of
modern.
Yeah, that's the very word. But everything is pretty much in the same place apart from us.
Yeah.
Everything has changed, but nothing has changed.
Yeah. Somebody sent us a cartoon yesterday of because we were coming in, and it was the two of us sitting in here, and I said, well, we're going back, and Richard said, to the future.
Back to the future. Very good indeed. How does it feel sitting on the other side of the desk now, Ivan? Because normally you'd be in Gary's position.
Very odd. The only time I have ever sat on this side of the desk was, I think, the 20th birthday. And they decided on the 20th birthday they would run the entire day with the people who on the first day had done particular slots. So Jibbo did breakfast that day.
Okay.
And people like us were brought in during the course of the day to be interviewed, and we did that, and I was sitting over here, and other than that, never. Always where
here.
You are, Gary.
With the whistles and faders, very good. And tell me, did you guys, you didn't start here at the same time, did you?
As you?
No, as each other. You didn't both start together.
No, I see what
Sorry,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
you meant, did the programme start at 6
No.
in the morning?
I want to ask you about that in a wee moment, but taking you back to actually you both starting working for Downtown.
Well, we were both sort of here at the same time, but then first edition as it was then didn't start for a year or so. I was working in features and doing motorsport and things as a freelance, and Ivan was doing odd gigs.
Yeah.
Very odd gigs.
I started off with a program called Ivan Martin After Midnight, and it amazingly went out from 12 onto 2, but in those days you had to turn the station off.
Right. Actually switch it completely off, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
But you remember, was it like that when you were doing Hasty Isle?
Yeah, for a while, and then we went to a national feed with a Canadian lady who didn't like anybody, as far as I could tell. So handed over to her.
Yeah.
Very good. And okay.
That just reminds me of the competition that the guy sent us from a radio station in the States, and he would get people to ring up, and the competition was called Canadian or Dead. And they would play the person something, and they had to identify the person and tell the assembled listeners
which they thought it were.
Canadian or Dead.
Yeah.
And amazingly, Neil Young was Canadian.
All right.
But
obviously no Ofcom in those days.
And a slightly better option as well.
yes.
Very good. And then you initially did the breakfast show, Ivan, with Harry Castles, if my memory serves me right.
Well, yes, but no.
Yes and no, right?
Harry did a sports program on Saturday afternoons, which ran for 4 hours.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And he did Monday to Thursday. He was given Friday off to prepare the sports program.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And then Richard came in on the Friday. Now, Richard and I knew who each other were.
I bought a record of him in the shop once.
But yes, I had a record shop at that time.
Where was that?
It was in Bradbury Place, where the M Club is now.
Yes.
And it was called Sounds Around. And I did a promo for our program one time and used the phrase, music, news, information, traffic, travel, sport, and all the best sounds around. And somebody complained to the IBA. And so we did another one where I said, and all the best sounds around, although other record shops are available. But strangely enough, that one never got to air.
And that's how you two guys met then, because just
We
right.
were literally plonked in here looking at each other.
Going, oh, there's another guy with a beard. Actually, somebody was in touch, my dear wife, actually, who said, the two of you at some point must get in a stereo beard scratch.
Yes, then we used to do that.
Yeah. Should we get it in now?
Go for it.
That's better, yeah.
I washed my bed this morning. There's no sound coming out of it.
Clearly, Ivan didn't. Oh, it's great having you both in. We'll catch up more with Ivan and Richard.
It all began 50 years ago, and it's still going strong. Downtown Radio celebrates its golden anniversary on March the 16th. And in a special documentary, we'll reflect those 50 years from the earliest era of radio to the present day. I'm John Rossborough, and it'll be my pleasure to share the sounds and voices from a half-century of broadcasting. Downtown Radio, 50 years on. Today from 7 to 9 p.m.
Downtown Radio.
Hi, Ivan and Richard. I used to hear you on the show every morning on my dad's car radio on the way to school. I also listened to Richard doing his Hasty Oil in the evenings. Great memories, and great to hear you on again, says Gareth. And great to hear Richard on the radio. I met Richard as a site manager upgrading the pit wall at Kirkeston. Many an hour of crack we had about downtown and F1. Happy birthday, guys. That comes in from Alan.
And the very same to you.
I've got to say, it's as well you kept that link as long as you did, because once you mentioned Ivan and Richard's names, they were both stuffing a muffin into their gubs, and they were both panicking. They were like chewing like mad to get rid of the muffin so they could speak on the radio. Gentlemen, once again, welcome back to Downtown. I want to ask a question, right? So, what would you have been, maybe your 30s stroke 40s when you started the breakfast show in Downtown, age-wise? Or a bit older, a bit younger?
30s.
30s, okay. How did you find, what time did you both start in the mornings?
Different times.
Well, that's like Gary. Gary's here at 6. I come in at 7.
That's about right, yeah.
Would you have been then in your 30s? Because I'm going back. I mean, you two guys look like you'd have done a lot of partying back then.
Back then.
Yeah, how did you
Not up to it now.
Aye, but how did you find getting up in the mornings after maybe a night out on the tiles, maybe working and stuff like that?
Well, it was easier if you'd only just come in.
Didn't bother
Yeah,
going to
straight
bed.
into work. Yeah, straight into work.
Yeah.
And what time did the actual breakfast show start? When it settled?
Well,
I know you'd
it's-
done.
Yeah, we had many variations, but the general consensus amongst those who know about these things and make decisions was that 7 to 9 was the natural time.
Hold on there. Let me write that down.
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
think that'll be perfect.
7 to 9 a.m. Breakfast on Downtown. Sounds good to me.
So I used to get up at 4:55.
Very precise, Ivan.
Yeah, it had to be, because in those days a big feature of the show was the paper review,
Ah, right, okay.
which Richard did, and did in his own inimitable style, and it was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's also now illegal.
And here's the thing, I'm old enough to remember that some of those papers would have been dropped in FOC free of charge, to give away mention to those papers. But did that happen in your show? Were they always purchased?
No, they were always purchased,
Yeah.
and I know that because
You had to collect them.
I had to. They didn't get to Newtonards in the time scale we needed, so I had to go to Boucher Road
Ah, right, and pick them up.
Eason's,
Eason's, yeah.
and the guys there had them ready for me, and I brought them in and handed them to Richard, and he added a little bit of stardust
Yeah.
to it all, and that was it,
Yeah.
David's been in touch and he says, please ask Ivan and Richard about Wama Ben Laurie and Richard's newspaper review from Australia.
Yes.
Wama bin Laurie. Tell us about Wama bin Laurie.
It was
It was an anagram competition.
that's the word I
Right,
was
okay.
looking
And,
for, yeah.
We were looking for anagrams of various names, one of which was Barry Manilow, which kind of lends itself. And one gentleman,
Bin Laurie.
yeah, well,
Brilliant.
the best thing was that his card, when he sent in, remember cards he used to send
Yep.
in, he said he was called Rover Strong Tram, which turned out to be Trevor Armstrong.
Very good.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with your memory.
Oh, very good, guys. Downtown Radio on our 50th birthday. Men at Work and Down Under. If you were tuned in earlier, you'll know that I was saying that Richard had kindly sent me a number of songs that meant something to you guys from downtown over the years. Tell us about Men at Work Down Under.
That always reminds me of Jibbo. Jibbo used to scour the globe looking for new music, and he came up with Men at Work, who at that stage were not known outside Australia. So it turned out that he had the opportunity to go and work in Australia. So he decided he would go over there, and he played this to death before he went, and he had a great time there.
Could I just point out, you refer to him as Jippo, but to the listeners,
Yeah, he's John Paul.
John Paul Ballantyne is who we're talking about.
That's
and John
right.
would have been the first ever on air, is that right?
Yeah, he was the first non-suit to speak.
Is
a
that
great
because
way of putting it.
is that because he couldn't afford one, or because that's just the way he was?
No, because he was the first of the people who had been employed as broadcasters.
Right, okay.
The suits were management.
They were all in the newsroom or else upstairs, isn't that right?
Yes, and they, on the opening day, had to say a few ill-chosen words to get things underway. And then
very
Jibbo
good.
came on and played it.
Changed everything.
He did. Life as we know it was never the same again.
So tell me this. Obviously, you guys looked after this for 20 years odd, right? And at that time, I want to talk to you because Northern Ireland was a very different place, and you were waking up many mornings to news stories that thankfully we don't hear anymore locally. And on the darkest days, how did you guys approach those mornings and those times?
Nervously.
I'd
Just
like-
try and tread a very fine line between
Yeah.
what is a heavy news story and keeping the rest of the programme acceptably light, if not as light as it could have been otherwise. It was something that kind of happened instinctively, or perhaps didn't. I don't know, because I wasn't listening. I was only doing it.
You were that side of it.
Yeah, we had to, as Richard says, very thin line, and you couldn't be full of the hits and the happiness if you had a particularly gruesome news story.
Yeah.
it was difficult. It was different times, but we never, in all the time we did it, had any complaints for people saying, you know, guys, you know,
You're too happy.
yes.
I think that's a testament to you both.
I
in
think it is,
itself.
yeah, because we've had it, in terms of what you're talking about, we've had it relatively easy.
Very much so, yeah.
Yes, now and again you may get something happen where you've got to sort of come back a wee bit, but that would happen to us maybe once every 5 years, you know,
Yeah.
where back then, 70s and 80s in Northern Ireland, you know, and into the 90s, that could have been every other morning.
Yeah,
You know.
it was nearly a daily occurrence. There was also the fine line undrawn, unspoken of, as to which side of the great battle you sounded as though you were
Yeah.
belonging to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that we ever got that totally right, but I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, that's true. Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah. It was challenging, but you just needed to concentrate all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, we would tend to be reasonably laid back sort of people.
You don't say.
You know, we had to keep on it, as they say.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
You had some of the best jingles. I've got one for you, which will
Right.
be a memory. All right, here you are.
If I had $1 million, I'd give it all to Ivan and Richard. Well, there are a couple of swell happening early riders. But I'll tell you something, their program may be hot daily goods. But their coffee, well, it stinks.
Yes.
That was our friend and colleague Gino Wilson who put
Yeah.
that together for you guys.
Gino was a genius, wasn't
Yeah,
he, Richard?
he was.
Just, you know, he had it. Whatever it is, he had it. You
Made
know.
in house.
Yeah, and you know he was doing the all-nighter at the time, and he would take time out, you know, string a few things together, and we'd arrive in here, and he would say, "Oh, done your new jingle. Listen to this," and bump off
Brilliant.
it went.
Brilliant. Here's another song for you, Richard. And Ivan, you've chosen this one from Robbie.
Yeah, most frenetic person I've ever met in my life.
Huey Lewis in the News, The Power of Love from 1985. Gary and Glenn, we're in until 10, Downtown Breakfast. It is our 50th birthday today, 50 years ago. This radio station started broadcasting from this building and from this very studio, and two of the legends of this station with us on breakfast this morning who looked after breakfast for many years, Ivan Martin and Richard Young. Morning again, guys.
Morning.
Lovely
Yes.
to have you on, and there's so many listeners that are getting in touch saying that they began listening to the station in the mid-80s. There's someone there saying, on a Bush clock radio I got from Esso with 80 Tiger tokens. I used to love listening to the station. Great songs, and it is very much part of Northern Ireland as much as the cranes in the shipyards or the stones at the Giant's Causeway. Isn't that lovely? Thank you very much to David for sending that in.
Very poetic.
Very
David.
poetic,
Very
yes.
good. I'm impressed.
Gents, you were telling us earlier, back when you were doing the show, you had a feature on the show where Richard had the chance to test drive the latest cars around the province, and tell us one of the new inventions that came along with that, Richard.
Well, one of them was the very first. All cars have it now. Keyless ignition. Where you pressed a button on the key fob.
Yeah, key fob.
The car unlocked itself.
Yep.
This particular one was the first that I'd come across, a Volkswagen Golf.
Uh-huh.
And not only did it unlock itself, it also flashed the hazard lights
Yep.
and blew the horn.
The horn sign. Yeah, the horn signs. Yep. Yep.
So we were having a party at my house and looked out the window, and here were a couple of people just walking past, which hit the button, and they nearly jumped over the next door wall. This empty car had just beeped at them, and they're looking around everywhere. So that kept us innocently amused for about 3 hours, I think, as people arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
One time, ITV did a thing called telethon.
Yes, I remember
Yeah.
Telethon.
And it was decided that Richard and I would leave here on Friday morning at the end of the show and drive round the island of Ireland using only the roads
Okay.
closest to the sea. Isn't that
Oh,
correct?
Yep,
so
yeah.
right round the island the long
Sort of
way.
came up because there was a great debate about how far it was around the coast.
Yeah.
And you'll never get a total mileage short of kind of walking the tide line, and that's
Yeah,
not really
yeah.
all. So we got borrowed
No, you stole it, Richard.
Sierra Cosworth from
Oh.
Mr. Ford, which
Oh,
we
right,
If you're going
okay.
to take a car, take a good one.
Yeah.
and we set off with 0 miles, and we got it done in just under a week. Now, we weren't going all the time, of course. There are a lot of nice places to stop.
Well, you
around the
had to
edge
do
of
that,
Ireland,
yeah.
Yeah.
But the final total, for anybody who's interested,
I was going to ask,
Yeah.
make sure you tell us the total.
2,755 miles.
Is that the circumference? Is that what you call that?
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
around.
yeah, right around the island of Ireland.
Now, you could go further by going out every little stick of rock.
Oh,
that
yeah,
goes
but
out the
yeah,
west,
but on the
that's
roads.
Yeah.
What was that figure again?
2,755.
2,755 miles. That's going to be
That's a
great
quiz question
That's a quiz
for
question
someone,
right
yeah.
there.
I was amazed that when we got on to Achill Island, I don't know if you've ever been there,
Nope.
but I thought, right, this is first thing in the morning, 20 minutes and we'll be on our way. 68 miles round Achill Island, driving closest to the sea.
Yeah.
But the best bit was all the roads were really tiny and
Yeah.
beaches and stuff like that. And we sort of didn't get a chance to open up the Sierra Cosworth until we came across this new piece of road which had been paid for by the EU between Ballyshannon and Bundoran. So off we went and we're flying along, and the service crew are behind us, but about halfway
3 miles behind you.
yeah, we drove on, so we're getting closer to Bundoran, and we go past this sign, and Richard said to me, "Did you notice what that sign said?" I said, "Yes. Bundoran welcomes careful drivers."
Very good.
Very good. Loving the stories this morning, guys. 9:13. Sixpence None the Richer and Kiss Me on Downtown. We were chatting there about your journey around Ireland, the circumference of Ireland, and of course you had Richard behind the wheel of this Sierra Cosworth. Worth noting that you were in safe hands because, of course, Richard, during your time on Downtown Radio at breakfast, you were the Irish Hill Climb champion of 1988, 89 and again in 1996. So motoring and motorsport was a big part of the programme as well, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, it's been part of my life since I was about 4. So it was a fairly natural evolution.
Yes. And the Cougar, wasn't that the car?
The car, yeah, it was a rather special car. That's it. It's the car that won it. I just happened to be sitting in it.
I don't believe that for a moment. So yeah, good times then.
Good times, fun times, and I think neither of us are naturally early morning people. So
Right.
we took a decision very early on that if Richard said something that made me laugh, I laughed. And, there was none of this trying to suppress it or whatever. It didn't work out for him one morning, did it, when I disappeared under the desk?
Oh, there were a couple of times like that.
Tell us about this particular morning.
Oh, this would be the giant squid.
It would.
Yes. We had a book, and you probably had one as well at some point. Things that happened on this day.
Yeah.
But,
In
Oh,
history,
yeah,
yeah.
in history, yep.
Absolutely desperation read. And we were a bit stuck for something to say.
That's half of our show.
Sounds
Quite a lot
exactly
of
like
that.
it.
But looked up the date and found this bit, and it said, on this day in 1800 and frozen to death or whatever it was, a giant squid was spotted in the Indian Ocean. It had tentacles 100 feet long. That would have been grand if I'd said tentacles.
That's a testament to your breakfast show.
Yeah. And I looked across the desk and he'd disappeared on the floor. And within 2 minutes, reception had phoned down.
Yes.
As somebody had rung up and asked, was it anything to do with Moby Dick?
Very good.
I like that.
Very good.
All right, so we've got a book out there. Are there a lot of these stories in the book, Ivan?
That one isn't.
Tell us about the book.
The book is Downtown Brought a Smile to Your Ear.
Love that.
Oh, very great.
And,
Great title.
That was a strapline of a station at one stage, wasn't it?
It was,
Yeah.
and there was a sticker with that, which is on the cover of the book. But John Rossborough rang me and said, Downtown, 50 years old, 16th of March. Do you fancy collaborating on a book? I said, right, okay. So we did the book. He looked after all the technical stuff and how the license was obtained and all the things that people could sue you about. He looked after them. All angles were covered, and that was great. And then I looked after talking to some of the people who were involved. And there's a section of the book of one-to-ones with me and these people. And, you know, they range from Ivan Little to Pammy Ballantyne. There's a bit in with Richard and I, which I nearly forgot to include in my enthusiasm to get it finished, but it's there. And other people who worked with us, like Jibbo, obviously, and, you know, more recently, Frank and Johnny Hero and Jerry Lang and so on. People like that. The thing I found out very quickly was that over 50 years, you accumulate an awful lot of people, and it is impossible to talk to all of them.
Yeah.
So some people have one-to-ones, like, for example, Jibbo was, as you said earlier, Glenn, the first voice, the first non-suit to speak on Downtown Radio. So obviously he has a special place. There are other people who stories about them permeate throughout the book, you know, and people talk about others and so on. Like, Richard, you were talking to me about Candy, for example. And you said, do you remember what you said about her? She was everybody's auntie.
Yeah, Candy was the go-to person if anybody was upset about anything. I'm not sure she wanted to be, but
But you had no choice.
yeah, and you know, people would gravitate just to sort of cry on her shoulder for a little while, and Candy was just a lovely person.
That's the kind of person Candy was. Whether she wanted your problems or not, she'd have took them
Yeah.
and dealt with them for you as well. When is this book going to be released? When can we get hold of it?
Well, I'm hoping to get physical copies of it later this morning.
Oh, right, okay.
And it is being launched at No Alibis bookstore in Botanic Avenue in Belfast.
Fantastic bookshop, yeah.
Yeah, on Tuesday the 31st of March.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So
Very good.
Richard and I will both be there. JR obviously will be there, and a number of people who are mentioned in the book will also be there on the night. So we're looking forward to that.
Brilliant.
And God bless David had no alibis for agreeing to do it.
And well done to you guys.
Yeah, well done
to
indeed.
John Rossborough and yourself, because I know the hours of work and the months of work that have gone into it. I can't wait to read it.
There are certain life lessons, and one is there's no money in books.
Very good. Very good.
Love that. A lot of people getting in touch this morning saying I loved listening to Ivan and Richard over the years, especially when May McFetridge would join in.
John Lenihan.
Yeah. Richard, May was something else, wasn't she?
She it. Brilliant.
Yeah. Shall we tell the motor show story?
Well, yes. It was 1991, said he, looking back. The Duke of Edinburgh appeared to the Chuki Ember, as they call it.
Yeah.
Came to open the show, and wearing my kind of semi-motor show hat, I had to escort him through the motorsport bit, which is quite by the by, except that it was awfully nice to be photographed with him then. And Ms. McFetridge was elsewhere in the King's Hall.
With me and Miss Lusardi.
Yeah.
Oh, Linda.
Linda.
Yes.
Oh, I have a photograph.
How the other half lived, eh?
I liked your gig, Ivan.
But no, May decided that she had to have a chat with the Duke, although he wasn't actually on the roster of people to talk to.
Funny enough.
So he did what any right-thinking person would do. He just went up and boned him and said, what was it he said?
Do you get something to eat, son?
Oh, brilliant.
And the Duke glared at May and walked off, and May turned to Linda Lusardi, who was bemused by all of it, and said, "That's Phil the Greek." at which point his security man pulled back his overcoat to reveal
The artillery department.
an Uzi.
Oh.
They weren't messing about.
So we retreated into the shadows. As they used to say in the news of the world, we made our excuses and left.
Indeed.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for coming in. It's our 50th birthday today. If you've just joined us on Downtown Radio, it all started in this building, in this very studio, and two of the guys that looked after this show and breakfast for so many years have been kind enough to come in and join Glenn and myself today. Ivan Martin and Richard Young.
1981 to very late in 1999. Christmas 99 would have been right in saying is when you finished.
You would, yes.
Yeah. And how did you find those 19-20 years on air?
It's been an absolute something or other.
No, they're fine.
Yeah. Looking back, and I've reached an age where I can do that now.
Yeah.
It was the highlight of my career.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it tremendously. And radio was a very different animal then.
Yeah.
I accept that
Yeah.
totally. But the autonomy that Richard and I had, and basically they just let us get on with it, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an adventure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there are adventures available these days, but
Was it an enjoyable adventure?
yes, it was.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's it.
Hugely, yeah. We loved it.
Well, listen, Gary's just about to play what was your final link in your final show, and I have pre-heard this, and I have to say, to be able to hear this, I think it's just amazing. So, on behalf of Downtown, thank you very much for coming in today.
Thanks for asking us.
No, it's been great.
I never thought I would sit in this studio at this time again in my life.
Well, listen, we've already mentioned your book. Wish you all the very best with that you've got coming out, and we'll talk more about that on the show. But I think management letting you two guys do exactly what you do without any interference was the best decision they've ever made, because you are brilliant. And thank you for coming along.
Not at all, our pleasure.
And just before you leave us, remember, smile and invoice.
Here's your final link, guys, and the final song you played on Downtown. Thank you so much.
Talking about leaving on time, that's about it, Richard.
Certainly is. What does one say?
What does one say? I think what we do say is all the very best to Ronan, and we hope he enjoys the next 20 years. And if he has as much fun getting up at 4:30 in the morning as we've had, well, sure.
It's a rare experience.
It is a rare experience. I think all we can do is say at this point, it's goodbye from me, and
It's goodbye from him.
goodbye.